All right, so the way I'm gonna approach this, I'm gonna start with my Cocoa clippers, and I'm gonna start with my #1 guard, and I'm gonna go with the grain and just see how it reacts first. And for y'all that's watching, I know the next question is the lever open or close? Normally I'll start it open if I don't know the hair, but I know I'm going a lot shorter, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one closed. Because I knew this was the fullest part of her hair. So my very first thing is gonna be to build myself a canvas for the design. So right here, as you can see, if this is my thinner area, I'm literally stopping right before I get to that. So if you have anybody with lighter areas, you always wanna meet it right there. You can't just go over that or you're gonna cause a bigger problem. All right, y'all, so as you see, now I've opened them all the way back up, and now I'm getting a good feel of how her hair works, and I'm literally going up against the grain now, but the same thing I did up here, I'm stopping before the light area, okay? So in a minute, you won't even be able to tell. But it's important for me to know that and identify that, because then that's gonna tell me where I should and shouldn't be designing. So I probably don't wanna go right through there. If anything, maybe go around it, unless I'm gonna do a design where I blend that in. And luckily I got a amazing volunteer here today where she ready to take some chances. So we might do something like that. All right, so I've closed it up now. Coming up. Now you can see it's starting to meet from here to here. I still got a little bit of the area that's darker here. So what I'm gonna do is open it up and I'm gonna start skimming against the grain right above that lighter hair. So now I know what's going on. So now I'm gonna go ahead and position her down a little bit, and we're gonna start knocking down the rest of this. And it's much more full back here. So back here, I'll more than likely taper her up real hard. She got them waves popping off, boy. You see them dips. You gotta pay attention to the direction of the hair. You can't just be running these clippers anywhere, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So if you look right here, her hair is, the direction of it is going this way. But if you look over here, it's actually going this way. Everybody's pattern is different. Some people's will come this way, but if I'm going with the grain, and I just, let me get my hand out the way. If I'm going with the grain, or I think I'm going with the grain, and I just go this way because hair normally goes that way, you're gonna chop a huge chunk off of right here. So you gotta pay attention to the natural flow of the hair, and you wanna complement that. So I'm going in the direction that it's naturally growing. And I'm not so worried about all this because I'm gonna come back and taper it hard. All right, y'all, so we got her laid nice. Got to see them waves popping. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bald her out right here a little bit. I'm not gonna go too high. I wanted to have a nice tapered flow, but I am gonna bring it all the way down. All right, so I'm gonna pop this guard off, y'all. And always clean that hair off. And then you always wanna re-clean your client because you want them to be comfortable. and that hair could get kind of itchy. So we're gonna go ahead and clean it off, keep your client feeling like a millie. So now we have that bottom zero, that bottom zero guideline. I'm gonna take my cocos, open them up all the way, which is equivalent to a 1. And then I'm just gonna come up right about right there. And what I like to do is I like to leave those corners a little darker because it makes the lineup look nicer. Still gonna blend them, but just not blend them as hard as this middle area. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and close these up and ball that bottom out. Literally just tap that line. And her hair is really fine right here, so it's easy to just tap it real quick and boom, it's already done. So now I'm gonna take my 1 guard, pop that back on. And I could do the same thing, but I really want a nice graduation. So instead of closing it and knocking that bottom line the way I did this one, I'm gonna open it because you can see there's there's a thinner area here. So we wanna make sure that I blend it and get a good graduation. So I'm gonna just take that corner. And you see now I'm making that match the thinner area. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And I'm just flicking out right up under that. This is the occipital bone. I'm flipping out right up under that. So here I'm actually laying the clipper on her head. When I come up here, I'm literally flicking off. Hoping to get y'all a little more detail this time, man. I got my son recording with me. I try to put it on the tripod, and sometimes y'all like the video, but you'll say, you know, you couldn't see and this and that. So we're really taking it there right now. We're getting some detail for you. So I'm hoping this answer a lot of those questions on how to. All right. So as you notice, I'm using the corners. I'm not just laying it flat and going right on their head because I'm working areas at a time. All right. So now I'm gonna do kind of similar right here on these sides. I know it looked like I'm all over the place, but you'll see how it's coming together in a minute. And you gotta trust the process, all right? So you're watching this because you're trying to find the process to put together some steps. So you gotta understand that it's not gonna look good while you're doing it. That's why a lot of barbers turn their client away from the mirror and they don't want them to see. I don't care about none of that because I know in the end, I know what I'm doing. So you gotta trust your process. So right now you're learning the steps. And then once you get to the end and you see how that really come together, it'll make you confident moving forward where you're not worried so much about what it looked like along the way. See, because right now, the average person that's learning the fade, they'll be like, man, but I keep stroking, I keep doing what he's doing, but it's not blending. Well, guess what? This is only one guard. This is only one phase. We're gonna have to close this guard. We're gonna switch this guard. We're gonna come back on it without a guard. All right, so now I'm gonna come halfway. Closed it a couple of notches. And now I'm finishing just a little lower now. So as you can see, I'm not going as high. And now you can see all of that coming together. All right, now I'm gonna close it all the way. And so the same way we knocked that bottom line out right here, now I'm working on knocking this next line out. And that's how you get that graduation. Again, it's not gonna just do it like in the snap of a finger. So when I come back and take this guard off, you'll see it really set in. So as you can see on these corners, I got some heavy hairs right there. But again, I'm only skimming these because I want this to stay full, just like I left that darker area down here on purpose. So when you cut hair like this, you can actually see where the line is gonna be at. So you can see right here, I'm gonna show you. This is exactly where that line is gonna be with a slight angle on it. And it's gonna look good on her head shape. So we're gonna make sure this side is cleaned up as well. I'm gonna tilt you a little bit. You guys gotta be comfortable with guiding your client's head. They wanna look good, so they need you to be the professional and point them the way that you can get the best results. Some of y'all scared to touch people. This is one of the most intimate businesses you'll be in, where you meet a stranger and you actually have permission to guide and touch them. So you gotta get that confidence down early because you know why you're doing it. Don't worry, you know why you're doing it, so do what you need to do to get that best angle. And gently, of course. Am I gentle enough? All right, cool. All right, so let's reevaluate where we are now. I like how this is looking. This lady got some nice, look at that boy, look at them waves. So this is what I see happening. I see that this is blending, but remember, this has a downward direction. This is going this way. So I can see this blending, but then I have just a little heavier area. But you have to remember, this was the light spot that we were working on. So now I'm not gonna keep going over that. I'm literally gonna come up here and start working those hairs. And you can literally clipper over comb that right there. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna bring it up. And what I would suggest is start off with it open, because you don't want to chop it off too much. Boom, look at that. And now I'll close it just to touch some of those. Look at that. Now hit that little area right there. Boom, look at that, boy. She laid. All right, so now the guard is off. I'm gonna go ahead and keep the guard off now. I'm gonna blend these two lengths that we created right here, okay? But I'm literally gonna skim it, because if you go in there too hard, guess what? You know, I won't say you mess it up, because to me, you could always fix a mess up in here. We've all done it, but what you'll do is you'll recreate your line, and then guess what? We'll have to. It's kind of like starting over. So you really want to be subtle on this part. And all hair textures are going to be different. Her hair is like right in between. It's like she has coarseness in there, but there's some fine areas. Sometimes I usually get all fine, or I get all coarse. So you got to kind of like pay attention to how the hair is reacting. That's why you saw I started off in the beginning just testing everything out. All right, so now we're starting to blend, boy. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. And this side looks a little lower and darker, so I'm gonna close it just a little bit. I gotta check this blade, because these clippers get warm. So if y'all been thinking about these cocoa trimmers, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna always tell y'all the real on the experiences with these clippers. So I love these. Like when I say I love them, I love them. I couldn't stand them when I first got them, and then I love them, right? But let me tell you what I love about them, and let me tell you what I had to start being a little careful about. They blend so nice, and I believe it's because of the long tooth blade. They blend super nice. They remind me of like the old school Masters. If any of y'all start cutting years ago with the Masters by Andes, this is just like that feel. The problem is, just like those clippers got hot, these things get hot as hell. That's the only thing. So you kind of have to keep it moving. So somewhere in the middle of this cut, you'll probably see me switch clippers, because they do get hot. So she asked a good question. And normally I keep it moving in these videos, but this is good content for y'all. So she asked, does it get hot for the client or for me? So shout out to Coco, because whatever they did, the actual body of the clipper does not get hot in my hand. And that's why I don't know it's burning the hell out of my car. Because, well, be careful, put that on your mouth. So that's why I'm very careful, because it feels great. But this blade will get hot as hell, and I feel it getting hot. But the way that I finesse, she won't feel it right away, because I'm usually like, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna brush you off. So, and you have to have finesse. You gotta have finesse. You don't want to be abrupt on your clients, man. I've seen people whoop the hell out of somebody's head a few times. I stay gentle. The thing is, if you rest this on her skin, then she'll feel that heat. So I intentionally like keep it off of there. So I got the guard off now, and what I'm doing is preparing to line this up. And I'm getting an idea of where I'll throw that design in at. All right, so we're gonna check her status. I think what I'm gonna do is come just a little tighter right here, and then we're gonna start lining her up. This is her heaviest area, so I'm gonna lay this down just one more notch, and then we're gonna start lining up, and then we'll hit that design. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my half guard. So this is also a 1/16 inch, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close it halfway, and this area I already like it. So thank you. So what I'll do is I'll go with the grain, and I'm just getting that dark stuff down so it don't look so, it don't contrast so hard. All right, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. It's looking good. Now, for some of y'all who are trying to figure out how that clipper is laying, check it out. I'm gonna show you the side profile. So literally I can lay it flat on the head, and I'm just letting that tooth scrape it just a little bit. Be careful to not go in like that. That's how you get gouges in the hair, okay? Plugs. So I'm gonna go a little tighter. If y'all don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. Stick to your comfort level. But just remember, repetition is everything. So if I'm doing something and you like, man, when I do it, it don't come out that way. We'll do it again. That's where the confidence comes from. Doing it so much to where maybe you did mess up a few times, but now you know what the hell you're doing. So you don't have to sit here and watch my video. You got your steps down now. All right. Now it's time to bring it all together, man. What I like to do on the lineup is I like to start right here, and then I like to bring that shape that I made around here into the neck here. Sometimes ladies' hair grows differently. Sometimes they'll have a heavy sideburn area. She doesn't have a heavy one, so I'm not gonna hit her with that point, but what I will do is I'll slant it just a little bit right here, okay? So that's where I'm gonna land at. And I do go a little more dramatic around the ear than most people. Some people, that's like I'm more of a hybrid barber. I'm like old school mixed with new school. I like new school style, but I like to mix it with old too. So, you know, the old school styles, they used to clean around that ear, boy. New school barbers will leave it on there sometimes. So what I like to do is meet it a little halfway. So you see I made my line, so some of you will just scrape up and down, but I like to be as gentle as I can to the skin. So I'll make my line and I'll clean it upside down because the clipper is less abrupt when you turn it this way. And you gotta be patient because if you start pushing too hard on this, you'll end up having that thing so high. So I pull her ear back just a little bit, not too hard, don't hurt nobody. And then I'm starting my oval shape. All right, so now you can see, we got the line right here where that comb is at. You see it went over a little. Now that stop point is gonna be what I'm gonna use to start. There, now it makes sense, right? And you don't have to do it the way I do it. You could go another way if you want, but this is my way. Start rounding that, and then what I'm gonna do is instead of just going straight down, I'm starting at that point and I'm rounding into what I started here, and then I'll do the same thing back this way. So really all I'm ever doing is making like reference marks for my next step. And you want to make sure that neck is tight, because if it's not tight, skin kind of rolls up a little bit and then it gets sharp. So now y'all see, we got something, boy, look at that. And it fit that little head shape good too. Some people will take women and they'll do a huge V like this. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what we're doing today. I like the slight V because then when it's growing back, she can rock her style for a long time without it looking rough back here. Some of y'all, when you cut that V right here, it does look good for that first day or two. And if somebody tells me what they want, cool, I'll do it. But if I have a choice, I'm gonna do a slight V that goes with the natural lineup. And then that way, when it's growing back, she could keep on rocking this and she'll get way more days out of it. So, see how we looking? It's looking good. It almost made me not want to put a design in it. It looks so clean. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing over here. I'm gonna switch sides. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna find our point. So now you get my style. I'll pull that ear back, and I'm literally gonna stop right about where the corner of that comb is at. And then my starting point will be here. She has light hair here, so I'm literally gonna make my line there. Bam, bam, bam. All right, here we go. Same thing, put that clipper upside down, come up, clean up underneath it. You wanna clean those hairs out because it's gonna make that line pop even more. All right, fold that back just a little bit. And I'm right-handed, otherwise I would pull it here, but I'm using my right hand, so we're just gonna fold that back a little. You gotta get comfortable with maneuvering your client's body parts, man, to get what you need and to get what they want. They want to look good, so you gotta get comfortable with it. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there, clean this up just a little more. And one other little technique I use, you all behind the ear, because this is a super sensitive area, is I'll take the clipper upside down a lot, the trimmer, and I'll clean that hair out. I didn't do the other side, so I'll go back and do it in a minute. So same way we cleaned up right here, I'll do the same thing around the ear. Treat your eyes like a camera, just like a camera zooms in and you zoom out. So if you're too close too long, you really won't know where you're going. So I'll step back a little bit, and then I see that point that I stopped at. I think I want to make that a little more round. Okay, cool. So now I got that starting point, and we're literally gonna go right there, all right? So I'm tapping this very gently. And this is also a very sensitive area of the skin, the body, so you really want to tap. I keep my clippers sharp, so I'm even more cautious because I know they bite. So now I'm taking the corners, I'm just hitting little hairs that were missed. This is where zooming out is gonna help you again. Because when you're so close, you will miss the bigger picture. Oh, ooh, look at that head, man. Look at that head. I'm so glad we did this. All right. All right. So I'm gonna lay this down with the grain a little, and I'm gonna give her a little C-cut right here, okay? I'm gonna keep this half on here, okay? I'm gonna meet it about halfway. And just skimming it with the grain. I know I cut it with the one, but I'm actually using this one because obviously the one didn't bring it low enough for what I want with the lineup. I mean, she is like an ideal model because I'm almost cheating because she has a natural C-cut right here. It's kind of abrupt though, so I can do one or two things. I can start it and just come straight down, or I can give it a tad bit of an angle like that. And I think I'm gonna do a tad bit of an angle. So I'm gonna make my mark. Basically, I want it to be kind of not straight. I wanna have just a little bit of angle like that, okay? Same thing I did in the back. If it helps, you guys can use your comb and do this. Some people even have a pencil, they'll make a mark. Whatever works best for them. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Clean that stuff out of there. And when you have a versatile client like this, I mean, you could go about it a lot of ways. I could line that front. She'll look really dope with a lineup, to be honest with you. Some women don't want it because it has a masculine touch to it, but she just has a head shape where, honestly, it looks perfect both ways. So I'll decide in a minute. We're gonna do that other C-cut for right now. And then, so what I like to do is face the person towards me. So I'll mark this C-cut, and boom. So that's where we're gonna do the start line on that. All right. Now I can look at them straight on, and I can see that I'm in the right neighborhood. Man, the more I look at her, I think I'm gonna leave it natural up front. It looks nice, very, very nice. All right, and I like that feminine touch on it. So this side is a little thinner, so do know the hair doesn't grow perfect. None of us are perfect. So there's gonna be compromises you have to make sometimes. You gotta improvise sometimes. So it's in the right neighborhood of the height, but I had to go up just a notch because I want the line to show in her darkest hair right here. And I have a choice. I could go to the other side and bring that up just a little to match it. But in my honest opinion, it's not that big of a difference. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Your dopest haircuts you see, they're not perfect. There's always something. Yeah, I like this. like this. All right, so since I decided I am, and she gave me total freedom, you can't get more blessings than that. So since she gave me total freedom, and now looking at her with the C cups, I definitely like this natural up front. So what I'm going to do is actually just lay this down just a little bit right here and get just a little bit of that, and then I'll put a little bit of product in her hair just to see how it lays, and then I'll decide on if I'm gonna put a design in it because I think it's looking really good. I got the half guard back on. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it halfway. I don't want to lay it down a lot. I kind of like her having a tad bit of a little bang right there. I just don't want it super fluffy right there. So just laying it down a little bit. Boom. I'm not even coming forward to the end. I'm literally just touching it. Like just touching it. And you can see the hair is just laying down now. There we go. And then I'm gonna skim some of this. So this is just freestyle cleaning up, y'all. Don't stress yourself out on like, how do we get there? I'm just literally freestyle cleaning up. Man, oh, that looks so nice. I'm sitting here like really deciding on, do you throw a design in it? I wanted to the whole time. I think I'm gonna do it. All right, so if we're gonna throw a design over here, I'm gonna lay this down just a little tighter. And we'll keep it simple. We won't do too extravagant. Who knows? We may be able to have a return model here, and we may do something different.